Hello everyone, this is Parag Sankhe from channel Qtomation. In today's session, we will see about one of the important topic in software testing or software development, that is SDLC, that is Software Development Life Cycle. So what is Software Development Life Cycle? So basically SDLC is a step-by-step process which is followed in IT industry to design, develop and test the software. So whatever software currently we are using or we use on day-to-day basis, so each and every software which is created in IT company, that goes from certain steps, right? So every software which is created goes to certain steps during its development cycle, right? So that is called as a SDLC. So SDLC is a followed in IT industry across the world. So SDLC refers to a methodology with clearly defined process for creating high quality software in detail. This methodology focuses on the following phases of software development. So whenever software is developed, there are certain phases in the SDLC process. So SDLC is nothing but step-by-step process to produce the high quality software. Right. So what are the different phases in SDLC? So if you see here, requirements, design, development, testing, and deployment and maintenance. So these are the different phases in the SDLC process. So we will see one by one in detail. So basically requirement phase is nothing but requirement gathering phase, in which project manager or product manager gathers the requirements of the software. So basically what features we want in the software or how the software should behave, everything is going to be documented, and that is done by a project manager or product manager. So that comes under the requirement gathering stage. After requirement gathering stage, there is a designing phase. So various designers and application architecture are going to work in design phase. So they design the software. Basically, design will include creating some user interfaces, some UI elements, as well as deciding the architecture of application as well. Right. So that comes under design. After design, after design, development phase comes into the picture. So in development phase, mainly developers will focus on coding as per the requirements. After development, once that development is completed, then we have to test that specific application. So testers will be involved in the testing phase. After testing, deployment will be there. Deployment means deploying the software on customer or client's environment. And after deployment, maintenance will come, right? So after deployment, maintenance will come. So SDLC basically on high level includes, these are the various steps, right? Now we will see in detail one by one what are the different phases in SDLC as well. So first one, as we have seen, right? So first phase in SDLC is requirement gathering phase. So it basically focuses on gathering requirement from customers, because software is at the end going to be used by end users or customers. So what end user or customer want, right? So that are those are the requirements. So in first phase, so requirement gathering is first phase of the SDLC, in which product manager or project manager gather the requirement from customers. Now that requirement can be coming from market or it can be come from specific customers as well. So that includes how the software is going to work, or what are the different features should be there in that specific software, what is the need of customers, right? So understanding requirements and analyzing those requirements, that comes into the requirement gathering phase. And after understanding the requirements, basically documents will be created around it, right? So during this phase, customer states the expectation of the project, basically what customer wants that to be delivered in that specific software. That requirements are specified by customer, and project manager or product manager, basically they are the one who gets included in this phase. So they will just gather the requirement and they will create some document of it, correct? So how the customer will use the product and the specific information included with any special customer requirement related to the software. And this requirement gathering phase is basically conducted by product or project manager. So we have seen the first phase, that is requirement gathering and analysis phase, that just focuses on, that mainly focus on understanding the customer requirement and making some documents around it. Now once the requirement gathering phase is completed, after that next phase is design phase. So once the document gets created, right? So once the require after the requirement phase, there will be some documents of the requirements, those are available. In design phase, it mainly includes designing user interface, application architecture, right? User interface is nothing but how the software is going to look to end user. What are the different type of elements that will be included in the software? So basically, some designer team will create look and feel of the software, right? They will create some designing elements or the user interface. Along with that, some application architecture will be also decided. For example, the architects are basically highly experienced people who will just focus on high level of application architecture. So in design phase, they will mainly focus on designing the architecture of the application, right? What are the different system requirement? What are the database requirement? Or what should be the correct architecture for that software to design? So everything is going to be decided in the design phase, right? So we have seen two phases. First one is requirement, after that design phase, right? So once the design phase gets completed, after that development will start. And who will be included in the development phase? Developers, right? So developers will start coding as per requirement and design, correct? So before development phase, obviously the requirement document will be created in requirement gathering phase. Referring to that, designers will create some design for the software. Similarly, application architecture will be also created. So referring to previous stages, developer will refer requirement documents as well as design documents, and he will start actual coding of that specific software. Right. So developers will start coding as per requirements and design. Application includes, so we have to know that application includes lots of modules, right? So there will be multiple developers who will be working, right? So if the application is large, there will be multiple modules which needs to be developed. In such scenarios, multiple developers will be working together. So one developer might be working on specific module, right? So one developer might be working on some small feature or some individual module of that specific software. And once each and every developer develops different modules, or they work on the they completes the coding of different module. After that, they will merge all the modules, right? So once each and every module is individually developed, then they will merge that and they will create some build of that specific software. Now that software will be the first build that will be delivered in the next phase, that is testing phase. Correct. So testing phase is nothing but before delivering software to customer or end user, testing is conducted in testing phase. Quality assurance, quality control, and testers are involved in the testing phase. So what in testing phase will happen? So basically various type of testing like functional testing, non-functional testing, security testing, load testing. We are going to see this type of different testing in coming session, but just understand that all the different type of testings are to be conducted in the testing phase. So once developer create the first build of the software, then he will give that software build to testers, right? So testers will start testing that software build. Various type of testings are going to be conducted on that specific software build. Tester will start finding issues. They will start reporting those bugs to the developer. Once all the bugs and defects gets fixed, right? So in the testing phase, testers will start the testing and they will report some bugs and they will assign those bugs to to developer, sorry. So once the tester find and assign those issues to developer is going to fix those issues or defects. After fixing, testers will once again retest those issues and they will make sure that each and every issue is resolved. There is no major issue remains in the software build. Also, they will execute different type of test cases in the testing phase as well, right? So testers will normally write test scenarios, test cases. They will execute those test cases on the software build. And once tester gets the confidence that there is no open issues in the software build, then testers will normally give sign off. So sign off is nothing but kind of a confirmation from the tester that this software is now ready to go live or ready to go on customer or ready to be delivered, right? So this is kind of a official confirmation given by tester team. So until and unless the tester gives the sign off, the build will not be delivered or the software will not be delivered to the customer, right? So tester is a kind of a responsible for giving quality product to customers, right? So it is the responsibility of testing team that they will give sign off, right? Sign off is nothing but some official confirmation after testing. So once the testing phase is completed and tester is confident about the build or the software which is tested completely, he will say that that build or that software is now ready to go to production. So after that, the next phase that comes, that is deployment and maintenance phase, right? So deploying software on customers environment or production. So deployment means deploying that software on customers environment or production, because in testing phase or in development phase, whatever software was developed, that was getting tested or that was getting checked on some basic environment, some testing environment, and not on the actual environment, right? So testers will test the software on their testing environment, and once the sign off is given, the next phase that comes, in which deployment will happen. So deploying the software on customers environment, or we can also say on production, right? So that happens in the deployment stage. So after the project team tests the product and the product passes each testing phase, the product is ready to go live, right? So that means the product is ready to be used in real environment by all the end users of the product. So whatever the end users are there, they will start using the product after the deployment, right? So once product goes live to end users or customers, right? So after that, maintenance will come, right? Maintenance of software can include software upgrades, right? So we have seen that whenever we receive windows updates, so windows updates or mobile updates, they are nothing but kind of a part of a maintenance activity. That those are the software upgrades, right? They might be for some kind of a repairs and fixes of the software if it breaks. So sometimes what might happen, if the software which is released on the production can have some issues, so customers might be facing such issues, so that needs to be resolved, right? So that comes under maintenance activity. So whenever some issues comes on the production or the software breaks, then we have to fix those and again deploy those issues on the production. That comes under the maintenance activity. So during the maintenance phase, errors or defects may exist which would require repairs during additional testing of software. So this is the deployment and maintenance phase, correct? So just to revise one more time what we have seen first one is requirement phase in SDLC, then design phase, then development, then testing, and then deployment. Then let's come to the last slide. What is importance of SDLC? What are the advantages of SDLC or software development life cycle? So SDLC provides effective framework and method to develop software application. So we have seen that SDLC includes multiple phases or multiple steps which are required for software development, end-to-end development of software. Right, so it provides some effective framework which is followed across the IT industry. So if you go to any IT company, then that IT company will develop the product that will follow the SDLC process. So it gives some step-by-step framework or method to develop software application to IT industry. It helps effectively planning before starting the actual development. So whenever any software is developed, we cannot directly start coding, right? So it needs some planning, or it needs some systematic design or development planning, right? So SDLC allows developers to analyze the requirements as well. It helps reducing unnecessary cost during development. So if the software development cycle is not properly planned, right, then it might increase the chances of increasing the cost because it is not well planned. If SDLC model is implemented, then because of SDLC, we follow the step-by-step process for software development, and that will help reducing unnecessary cost during development. During the initial phases of developers can estimate the cost of predict they can developers can estimate the cost as well as predict the costly mistakes as well, which might be troublesome after realizing in later stages. So such type of predictions can happen because of this SDLC planning, right? It also enables developers to design and build high quality software product, right? So since development, testing, each and every phase is involved, the software quality which is developed is going to be a good quality product. So this is because they follow systematic process that allows that allows them to test the software before it rolled out to the customer, right? It provides a basis when evaluating the effectiveness of the software. So it provides some basics when evaluating the effectiveness of the software. Correct. So this further enhances the software product. So that is the main importance of SDLC. Correct. So SDLC model, in SDLC there are some different type of models. Right. So we are going to see different type of models in coming session. So what are those different type of models? So there is a waterfall model, there is a spiral model, and there is a V model. So each and every model has their own advantages and their disadvantages. Normally waterfall model, spiral model, and V model. So these are three different SDLC models which we will see in detail in coming session. So thank you for watching this session, and in coming session we will see about waterfall model.